Like I do every night, I was catching up on anything and everything NFL related, when I came across an article ranking NFL head coaches from worst to first. Out of curiosity, I clicked on it to see where CBS would put Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy. So I started scrolling, and to my surprise, he was number 19. The article read, "It takes more than just an elite quarterback to oversee 10 different double-digit win seasons across two teams. So McCarthy deserves more credit than he gets. What keeps him from the upper echelon here is the recent crunch time resume, an old-school play caller with a conservative bent. He hasn't guided any of his elite rosters to an NFC title game appearance since 2016. And while I already didn't agree with Mike McCarthy being the 19th ranked coach, the names in front of him made this list even worse. Mike McDaniel was 18th, one spot ahead, despite barely cracking a 500 record and being just a first-year head coach. Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Vikings, who got blown out on primetime by Mike McCarthy's team 40-3, was 17th. Frank Reich, the new Panthers head coach that has one playoff win in his 4 years of coaching, was ranked 16th. Brian Daboll of the New York Giants, who I do think is a good coach, was ranked 15th despite winning just as many playoff games as Mike last year and barely cracking a 500 record. The disrespect of Mike McCarthy goes beyond this CBS list. They are lying to us about Mike McCarthy. So let's get into the video. Real quick, we are less than 50 subscribers away from 20,000, so if you're not, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you. When the Cowboys decided to move on from Jason Garrett, it would take just one day for the team to find their new head coach. Previously in Green Bay, Mike McCarthy had the head coaching pedigree that Jerry Jones felt the organization needed. Mike had a 125-77 record when he joined the team, and a Super Bowl win under his belt. The end of his coaching stint in Green Bay in 2018 would be pretty ugly and publicized. But after a year off, McCarthy said that he had gone to the drawing board and changed his thinking about the game of football. If you remember his first year, McCarthy would face the pandemic, working around league rules, and really losing out on getting the team ready for the season. Then just 5 weeks into the year, he would lose his number one quarterback in Dak Prescott. Along with Dak being out, McCarthy would hire Mike Nolan, who led the Cowboys' second worst defense in franchise history. I still cannot get over how bad that defense was. Despite just about everything going wrong, the team would still manage to win 6 games, which was a pretty impressive feat, and I don't think Jason Garrett would have won 3 or 4 with that dumpster fire. Since that year, McCarthy has led the Cowboys to back-to-back 12-win seasons and an NFC East title. The biggest problem and blemish is that lone playoff win in 2022. McCarthy's career record in the postseason is 11-10, and he is just one of 4 active coaches with double-digit wins in the playoffs. While the great regular seasons haven't yet crossed over into the postseason, McCarthy has had success in the past, and there's no reason to think he can't do it again. One of the many things that this article got completely wrong is that McCarthy is a conservative head coach, which doesn't make any sense because the Cowboys have had one of the highest flying offenses in the NFL since McCarthy arrived in 2020, up there with the Bills and Chiefs. How many times have we seen the Cowboys go for it on 4th and short in the first half of a football game? A hell of a lot more than we did with Jason Garrett, and a lot more than we see with other teams around the league. McCarthy is not conservative. That is just completely false. Another knock on Mike has been game management stuff, but every fan around the league will tell you that their coach has had blips in game management. There is not one coach in the NFL that hasn't completely screwed up late game situations with poor timeouts, play calling, you name it. 2021 was the only year that really felt like that was the case for Mike. He had his moments in late game situations, but for the most part in 2022, he was just fine in the game management department. That's why these big media companies had to move on from that narrative. Most teams in the NFL would take back-to-back 12-win seasons and 2 playoff berths. Has the team had the playoff success that we've hoped for when the Cowboys hired him? No. And that is a blemish on his resume so far. But the truth is, it's hard to win in the playoffs, especially when this year would have required you to win on the road in Tampa, Tampa, a win on the road in San Francisco, and then a win on the road in Philadelphia to make a Super Bowl. That's a gauntlet that most NFL coaches are not going to be able to accomplish. Remember when the media was like, oh, Dallas can't beat the Bucs, Mike McCarthy can't take down Tom Brady, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as Mike McCarthy's Cowboys dominated them, the conversation was how bad the Bucs were and that it wasn't an impressive win. Please pay attention to what news outlets you get your news from, please. Stop letting these big media outlets try and convince you that Mike McCarthy is a bottom half of the league coach. He has won 30 games in 3 years. One of those years without his starting quarterback and the worst defense that I've ever watched. Is McCarthy and Andy Reid or Kyle Shanahan? No, but there's only 2 of those guys in the league. But he is damn sure better than any big media outlet will give him credit for. Here's my final rant before we conclude the video. If you think Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott stink, how have they managed to win 12 games 2 years in a row? The people that think both of them are bad, something's gotta give. Is McCarthy saving Dak or is Dak saving McCarthy? You can't have it both ways. No team in the NFL is winning 12 games with a terrible head coach and a terrible quarterback. Because you know why? The truth is, neither one of them are bad. Please, if you think they both stink, pick one. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, we are so close to 20,000 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, go down there, hit that button. I love you all. Bye.
Go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave.